So here's my wife's new kayak that we bought last week. We put her in it last night for the first time on a local river. She enjoyed it. It's going to be a good boat for her. My old boat right there. We're going to talk about the whys and what-fors on this boat. I'm going to do some artsy-fartsy stuff from yesterday from her little about 3-hour float. We had a good time and it's going to be a good boat for her. We'll be right back. I'm Dale Verts. I'm a hickbilly. There's obviously a lot of good kayaks out there, a lot of good kayak companies. There's, of course, cheaper boats. And now this is not an expensive boat. It's not cheap because cheap's not the right word. It's affordable. I spent way more on it than I did my old boat from 5 years ago. But, of course, everything's went up a bunch since COVID. I used to sell boats for a living. For over 20 years, I sold bass boats, fishing boats, pontoons, tritoons, deck boats, whatever. And I decided years ago the most important factor in buying any kind of a boat, I don't care if it's a kayak, a float tube, it's buying it from somebody that you can trust, because the dealer is most important. Now, this thing won't have to go back to a dealer per se, like a regular boat with an outboard motor. But still, we bought it from a guy who's just cool. I looked him up last year on the internet. I typed in kayaks for sale, Central Missouri. And there's like 3 real kayak dealers in this part of the state. Everybody else is the Walmart and Tractor Supply and places like that. They're just not where I'm going to buy a boat. And this boat fell in price more than a Walmart boat, but Tractor Supply and some, they had some higher end boats. This one is not an expensive boat. We didn't spend near $1,000 on it. So I got the thing from a guy named Jim Stewart. Jim's on the Niagara River near Buffalo, Missouri. And I'm telling you all that because, well, you guys are watching this from a long ways away maybe. Jim sells boats a long ways away. He says, I think he said 4 different states, or from 4 states away, people come and buy boats from him because he does a good boat. He knows his boats. He's an old river rat. He's the kind of guy I wish I'd met 20 years ago because he's got cool stories to tell. He dang near got killed on a kayak excursion, not the boat. That's a good story. I'll let him tell it to you. He's lucky to be here because old guy like him, whatever. Jim, appreciate it, bud. Yeah, River Jim Kayak Sales. Got some good deals on boats. Matter of fact, right now he's got the pedal kayaks for, I think, 40% off is what he said. I guess he still has some of them. 40% off. I don't want a pedal kayak. What I wanted for my wife is a good, stable, sit-on-top kayak. The seat is going to require a little bit of adjustment for her, a little bit more padding, she says, in the bottom, which is fine. Lumbar-wise, it's good for her. Back support was good. That's the important thing. Now, again, in a selfless promotion for him, he's right on the river, like 17 feet from the river, whatever. He can put you on it. We didn't do that with my wife. We put her on the floor of his shop. She sat in the boat. It was right. And that's important, that it fits you and you're comfortable in it. And so far, so good. We don't stay in boats for a long amount of time. Yesterday was 100 yards between drags and looking for rocks in between. We went with a 12-foot boat for her. Now, y'all, that's a big old boat. A lot of 8, 9, 10-foot kayaks out there, but we wanted some capacity, some storage. because we're talking about doing some kayak camping on some of these rivers. We're talking about packing food and tents and bedding, so cooking stuff. All that crap's got to fit in these boats. And my boat's a 12-footer also. So 12 foot is not too much for her. I thought maybe it would be. Jim told me it wouldn't be, and he was right. Going to a 10, 11-footer wouldn't have helped us any at all, and probably would have hurt her some. This boat's easy for her to get into. It's wider than my boat by 3 or 4 inches. It's just a very nice setup. Now this is the Perception Pescador. It's not the Pro. I am not going to need all the stuff the Pro has, which is like battery storage and things like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to have a trolling motor on a boat like this. So it worked out really well. Some of the advantages to a 12-foot boat: storage, stability, etc. Now, I've been in this boat. I fished out of it the other day. All truthfulness, it's not quite as stable as my boat. My boat has that tunnel hull design. This one has more of a V-bottom design. But, like Jim pointed out, when you put a load in these boats, they get more... Now, it's not unstable at all. My wife never felt tippy in it or anything. It's just perfect. But when you put weight in them, they get more stable. He said you'll never know how stable a boat is till you get loaded down. This has a crazy capacity. I forgot. I won't be able to read it. I don't have enough glasses on it. It says on there. It's like 375 or 425 pound, whatever capacity. I don't think mine has that much. My boat's a Patriot. I bought it at the Walmart. It was a misstock. They shouldn't have got it in. It's better than what they usually have. Obviously, I've used the boat. I've never had it in fast water. It's always been a pond boat and a creek boat, so I'm hoping my tunnel hull handles as good as this one. It may not, but it's been a good boat for me. It was less than half the money of this boat, probably a third money retail. 12-foot boat makes sense. It's a little bit more money, but not much. So if you're thinking about a kayak, you know, I guess it's a personal thing. If an 8 or 9 foot dinghy works for you, they're just corks, they're just bobbers in water for me. So. I love the molded in handles. It kind of looks chintzy, but I popped one of mine yesterday. My last one, it was original on the boat right there. I broke it yesterday before we left. That's the last original one on the boat. They rotted, and of course this one kind of stays out in the weather. Candies won't. I'll put it in the shop every time. Yeah, see, this one's still broke on the side here. I haven't replaced it yet. They just get bad. I love those molded handles. To me, it makes all the sense in the world. There's one on each end. Not a commercial for the Pescador. It is what it is. I like that lid. I like the way it works. And we got a towel in there and her hat, her water jug. Still pulling stuff out. Look at this. Some food stuff. Oh, piece of glass she found. Look at that. So I need to empty the boat out. Obviously, my boat's got a few things in it too. I got stuff I leave in my boat. I leave my toilet paper in my boat all the time. Is that helpful? Anyway, I'm throwing some footage in here. We had a nice, 3.5 hours. We probably went 3 miles total. We went up and back. It's not a float stream. It's a muddy water river near here, but she had a good time, a good test of the boat. Had to drag it down a mountain, and worse yet, had to drag it back up a mountain to get in, but that's okay. So there's the difference in the hulls of the boats. You can see how much wider a boat it is than mine. I said 3 inches. I think it's actually 6 inches wider. Quite a bit. More of a V-hull, standard hull maybe. It has plenty of keel though on front and back, and the back has that sacrificial keel because you're going to drag it around some, and that piece of block can be replaced as it gets worn. We're going to drag them. We had to drag them up and down a pretty steep hill. Another thing about these two holes, I don't have this dimensions in front of me. This one weighs pretty close to what mine weighs. And it seems like it's like 55, 60 pounds. It's not really that heavy. Yeah, I mean, I can pick them up and put them in the truck just fine. But dragging them and all that, you're only talking 5 to 10 pounds over a 10-foot boat. Again, so if you're worried about that, these strakes, I think, stiffen the boat up, as do the scooper holes, of course. The scupper holes, whatever, they stiffen the boat up. But it's definitely a better built boat than mine. More thought goes into it. Of course, my boat's 5 years old. They just get better all the time. Jim Stewart, River Jim, Niagara River, Buffalo, Missouri. I'll put links, of course, in the description. His website, maybe Facebook page. I don't even know if he's got one. He's a old bass fisherman, old lure collector, just my kind of dude, and he knows his boats. He gave us some deals on the thing, so cool. Thank you, Jim. Got some wonderful help that hangs around there. It was a very pleasurable experience. And it's an hour and 45 minutes for us. But he has people come, I think he said 4 states away to buy boats from him. There must be a reason for that. So it's commercial for you, Jim. Wonderful boat. Hopefully have some more videos and have some fun in this thing. Maybe this fall, maybe finally do our first ever kayak camping event. Maybe do the Niagara River with Jim. We'll see. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching.